The one nice thing about this line is, assuming that he does what we expect him to, which is plus Nissa, make a 4/4, and then replay his guy, like, we're going to be able to next turn play Obnixilis, and then attack Nissa with the Tormentor, which means he'll either have to chump with the Razorfoot Griffin or Nissa dies, and if he does chump with the Griffin, which I assume he'll do, the Obnixilis will grow to a 5/5, and it'll be bigger than all the 4/4s that Nissa is presumably making, which will be, I think we might possibly even have pulled ahead here, assuming he hasn't drawn anything, but my opponent is disconnected, so we might have a bit more of a wait, so I'll go ahead and pause again. Alright, our opponent has returned, and he drew Hunt the Weak for the turn, which is annoying, not gonna lie, but at the very least we're 2 for 1-ing him. He tapped in a very interesting way. He's not going to be able to cast his Warden of Beyond again, but nothing I can do about this happens. Pretty good draw by our opponent, making it a little more difficult to beat this Nissa. But we are going to get to, I assume he's going to start attacking this turn, which means we get to start setting up attacks, or setting up blocks rather. Oh, okay, he's just attacking with that, which is reasonable. Satyr Wayfinder. So, there are 8 more lands left in our deck. It's fairly reasonable to assume that we'll hit with the Wayfinder, but if we miss, then we won't be able to play the Obnixilis this turn. I'm not sure if that's worth it or not. I'm trying to figure out what our blocks are going to look like next turn. He's going to have to return something with the Primadox, probably just itself, or the land. You know, I don't know. If I play the Satyr Wayfinder, we would be able to... We could, like, double it up with the Necromancer to trade with the 4/4, and then the Elvish Mystic would be able to do the same. You know, I really don't think it's worth the risk of not being able to get this in play. Like, we're falling behind to this Nissa, and if we stumble once, we're just going to get run over. So I think we need to do as much as we can to try to get back in this game. He's going to have to return something. Just the forest, probably. Oh, he returned itself. Just replaying the Warden of Beyond, I assume. Or replaying the Primadox. Okay. He's going to make another 4/4. Two cards in hand, one of which we know is the Warden of Beyond. He has no good attacks. Ooh, that was a decent draw. So here, I guess we're just attacking the Nissa. It's the only thing we can do here. This thing does not trample, does it? Does not. Let's go ahead and get in there at Nissa. She's just going to take 2. That's reasonable. Or bring her down to 2, rather. To the Wayfinder. And then we're going to play a massive Scavenger. To make sure we don't deck ourselves here. Let's grab a Swamp, I suppose. Would have liked to have Gravedigger there, but it's alright. Let's see how big this thing is. I didn't bother to count. 9/9, that's pretty big. Gonna come up ground very well against his 4/4s, so once again we're just doing as much as possible to mitigate the effect of Nissa on the game, making free 4/4s. Just making sure she doesn't ultimate, but I think we can beat her as is, which is pretty rare. Like, if he draws triplicate spirits or something, it's going to get very difficult, because then we're not going to be able to damage her with Obnixilis anymore, and she'll be able to tick up pretty far. and just make all our lands 4/4s, which eventually will grind us down. And we also have to make sure we don't mill ourselves, as I said. Drew a land. Playing the Warden, interesting. Would have expected them to replay the Flyer, but okay. Also interesting. Okay, he's just gonna tap him to make mana, that's fine. Wish I could pull out my graveyard somehow, but that's not currently a feature. Restock. Well, that was an excellent draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 8 mana to work with right now. So I think what I want to do is restock, returning Stab Wound and Indulgent Tormentor. Then we get to Stab Wound the Razorfoot Griffin, kill the Nissa, and next turn we'll have Indulgent Tormentor ready to go. That seems pretty insane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's probably the best use of our mana. So we're going to grab Indulgent Tormentor and Stab Wound. We will Stab Wound the Razorfoot Griffin. The only card you could have that would stop us here is Ranger's Guile, but it's very unlikely. Obnixilis grows, and now I think we're firmly in control. Just gotta make sure we don't leave ourselves open to a random Sanctified Charge attack or whatever. So Nissa dies. I'm pretty pleased with the fact that Nissa was in play for 4 turns and we're still most likely going to win this game. Roaring Primadox continuing to cause trouble for my opponent, as I talked about before. He has to return it itself. He's just going to have to replay it and pass, I think. Oh, he's Convoking. Looks like he did. Oh, Living Totem. Yeah, totally fine with that. Oh, that's kind of funny. I forgot his Warden of the Beyond grew to a 4/4 because Restock exiles itself upon resolution. It's not an interaction I'd seen before. But yeah, it makes a 5/5, which doesn't matter because we have the Scavenger. Oh wow, he's getting in there. Alright, so I have to be very careful about my blocks here. He has 1 mana up. So we could have... The most likely thing that he has here is Ephemeral Shields. Don't think he has Ranger's Guile because he would have had to draw it this turn, but it doesn't actually matter. So we'll go to blocks. We're gonna eat this. We are going to... These things have Trample. So we're gonna trade Satyr Wayfinder for 1 of these. And then we're gonna trade both of these here, I think. That leaves us taking it takes us, we're taking 4 damage. Obnixilis is going to get massive after this series of blocks, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures are going to die, presumably. Probably 5 if he has an Ephemeral Shields. I think this is the most effective blocks that we have. Fairly happy with how this is turning out. Remains to be seen if I'm going to be casting, or if I'm going to be attacking with Obnixilis next turn. We might have to sit back for 1 turn, depending on how the board clears up. But we're going to be left with Scavenger and Rot Feaster to deal with his 1 4/4 and Living Totem, so I don't think I think I'm going to be in good shape. We're going to get a lot of triggers here, so bear with me. Oops. Oh, I have to put them all in stack first. 6 triggers, so he's growing to 11-11 seems reasonable. Oh, 12-12. Yeah, no, I was right. 11-11. Yeah, we're just firmly in control of this game. Draw Carrion Crow for the turn. We have enough mana to cast two things. So, what happens if I attack with everything? He takes 11, he chumps, he takes 15 total. Then we play this. I don't think I want to put myself in that risky of a position. I'd rather just attack with just the Obnixilis and then go from there. So I'm definitely playing the Tormentor, or am I? So you have to think what I'm most likely to lose to here. He could play a Mass Calcify next turn if he had one and drew a land, so we might want to play around that. That wipes his own board as well, and then he's tapped out and we get to play Carrion Crow. So I think I'm just going to play the Tormentor. I think it's incorrect just to hold it back because of that card. We never saw one, and it's not actually going to completely lose us the game, even if the unlikely series of events happen. So, yeah, we got there. Somehow been in this beat in this set with our own rares, so fancy that. As for sideboarding, I think I definitely want the Crippling Blight that is in my sideboard, possibly a couple other cards. Don't think I'm going to have time for Inguruk's Wake. Don't think Black Cat's going to be relevant enough. I think I cut one of these Unmake the Graves. We're going to be on the draw, and it's less likely that we're going to have time, because his deck looks not like blisteringly fast, but he looks to be on the beatdown plan for sure, so don't think we're going to have time for this, unfortunately. The other consideration, which I should have taken a closer look at in deck construction, is if I want another Swamp over Forest. The reason I'm playing 8 and 8 is because we have the Mystic and the 2 Wayfinders, so we really want early green. But we do have a lot of black spells. Granted, we did get a little, I mean, I don't want to say unlucky, but we did draw 2 of our only 3 double black spells there, so maybe that was just a small sample size. I think I'm just going to leave it as is, go with my gut. It should be fine.